Hey, have you ever wondered about ayahuasca? Wondered how this plant can be used for healing and transformation? What is it? How do you use it? Well, I actually have someone with me today who knows more about this medicine than anybody I've ever met. And I'm very, very pleased that Alanna Collins is with me today. This is Eddie with a Mindful Emergence, where Margaret and I offer mindfulness, movement, and breathing practices for healing and transformation. We're in the waking up business, and most of our work these days is with plant medicines. And so I want to thank you, Alanna Collins, for joining me today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you
Yeah,
for the introduction.
of course. So Alanna Collins is above all a persistent and fervent spiritual seeker. Her commitment to her personal spiritual journey has enabled Alanna to support thousands of people, bringing profound healing and deep transformation to each person who encounters her work. Alanna has extensive training in various spiritual lineages from the depths of the Amazon to the far east of India, as well as holotropic breath work and other meditative techniques, and has become one of the most well respected spiritual leaders in plant medicine communities. Alanna Collins is the founder of Truth is One Interfaith Church Incorporated, and she is based here in Western North Carolina. So tell us, what is Truth is One, Alanna?
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for sharing that and for the introduction. So, Truth is One is a spiritual community. We are a 501c3 registered nonprofit, not nonprofit organization. And, we are focusing on three aspects in our work. The first is personal transformation. And so this encompasses all of our work, all of our retreats, our plant medicine, ceremonies, rituals, rites of passage, preparation, integration, everything that is focused on the individual person transforming. And the second thing that we're focusing on is humanitarian effort and providing the basics, bringing food to people, feeding people, bringing clean water, protecting water. And the third thing is conservation and environmental activism. And right now we have a project in focus in the Amazon. We have an international partnership with our Brazilian community where we're actively planting medicines, ayahuasca vine, chacruna leaf, and so we are creating a sustainable source of medicine for future generations to come. It is also a social impact project where we are supporting local communities to create ways where they can support themselves. So these are really the three pillars that Truth is One is based off of.
Mm. So ayahuasca, of course, I have had experience. You may recall I was at the first ceremony you did at your current location in this beautiful space in Western North Carolina, and it was quite an experience. What is ayahuasca, and how did it come into your life? Why and how did you get involved?
So, ayahuasca is one of the oldest medicines on planet Earth, and it's been used for thousands and thousands of years. No one can really say exactly how long it's been used, but indigenous communities in South America have used this medicine for ages for healing, for transformation, for connection to nature, for expansion of consciousness. And so it's one of the master plants that our earth has offered us, as there are many. But it is one of the most powerful tools for healing and transformation that we have access to at this moment in time. And I came to ayahuasca about 12 years ago, and I was working as a psychiatric nurse. That's my formal background. I was working in psychiatry as a registered nurse in hospitals and rehabs, in inpatient facilities with children and adults. And so I felt the calling to work with ayahuasca, and so after some time participating, I became to realize that the Western system of medicine, was just not helping people in the way that I saw that plant medicines could help. It was a band-aid on the problem. It was only symptom control. It wasn't actually getting to the root causes of what is really going on in terms of mental health issues arising, physical health issues arising. And so eventually I left the system completely and I devoted myself to studying the medicines that I experienced and witnessed as being the real power for healing those root causes. So I left my job. I moved to the middle of the Brazilian Amazon, learned Portuguese. I lived with a community, a Santo Daime community, an Umbanda community. I stayed with the Yawanawa tribe. I also studied many years in Peru as well, doing intensive dietas, long periods of fasting, working with master plants. So I completely immersed myself to learn as much as I possibly could. And that's where those are all of the tools that I've learned that I've brought with me to this day to offer this work.
How has it changed you, or has it? Maybe I shouldn't
Wow.
assume anything.
Well, ayahuasca completely changed my trajectory in life. I was in academia. I was always focused on moving in the next phase of academia. So being a nurse, becoming a DNP, going to on to your master's, and just following that academic track to get to the highest qualification that I possibly could. But as soon as I drank ayahuasca, it she told me that that was not the path, that more education in terms of the standard medical system was not my path forward.
And when you say
And
she, you mean
I mean ayahuasca herself.
yes.
She's known as the grandmother. Um, and in addition, it connected me with so many other aspects of myself, really experiencing God. You know, people pray to God. They think that they that God is outside of themselves. But when you work with many psychedelics, but definitely ayahuasca, we can have an experience of God. We don't need to believe in anything. We have the experience of divinity within ourselves and in others. And this completely changes our entire experience of reality. And in addition, one of the greatest gifts I've received from ayahuasca has been my creative outlet. And this is not just me. This is everyone that drinks ayahuasca and works with psychedelics usually has some kind of creative opening, and for me music has just come pouring through me.
Mhm.
And so those are some of the greatest gifts that I've received.
And you're an amazing musician, among other things. I was blown away when I heard you sing and flute, and oh, it's part of it's like more medicine. It's really beautiful. So you've been doing this work for quite a while. You support others. What have you noticed in others that you've worked with? What are some of the benefits besides what is obvious in what you said?
So, you know, the benefits could go on, but some of the greatest things that I've witnessed in others is this possibility of transformation, of seeing a different perspective, of coming out of the victim consciousness, of really taking responsibility for their lives and seeing that they themselves, we ourselves have the capacity to heal ourselves, and that disease and disease and disorder is something that is self-created, and this is not because of someone else or something else. Somehow we've attracted things in our lives that have brought about these things. And so medicine can show us where these root causes are: past traumas, past relationships, past emotions that we've suppressed, grief we haven't processed, different things that then manifest as physical disease or mental imbalances. And I've also seen many people be able to come off of pharmaceuticals and come off of antidepressants. And in the recovery world, people coming off of methadone and coming off of Suboxone and coming off of various kinds of medications that are really just a band-aid on a deeper wound. And ayahuasca can give insights as to the deeper causes of all of those things. And it's also tremendously beneficial for depression, for anxiety, for waking up to the zeal, the beauty of life. It reconnects us with our spirit and with the spirit of the earth, with the spirit of those around us. And so all of these things, they give us a completely different experience of reality, which then in turn heals things like depression, like anxiety, which are usually the manifestation of much deeper spiritual and existential issues that are not addressed by the formal medical system.
Yeah. Well, we have a new tagline, if you know what a tagline, uh, discover the truth of who you really are is, because we help prepare people for psilocybin and, they're different medicines, but the end game a lot of times is people can really, we tell people, you really get a sense of who you are, not the stories that you've carried around into your head, all the bullshit, that you've accumulated along the way that we do. We can let go of it. You talked about people who are coming off of methadone, people who are in recovery. Um, have you had people reach out to you feeling a conflict because they're in recovery, they're following an abstinence-based program, maybe they're in AA or whatever, but they're really interested and they're feeling this medicine is calling to them, but they're thinking, wait a minute, this is another drug. And you say,
Yes, that's a very, very good question, Eddie, and it deserves attention. So first, I will respond by saying that ayahuasca is not a drug; it
right.
is a medicine, and
Hmm.
there is a huge differentiation between these things. And so, a medicine is something that we use to encounter all of our challenges, our addictions, our patterns. And drugs are what we take when we're running from those things, when we're trying to suppress them, when we're trying to not look at them. So they're actually completely opposite. So when
Hmm.
we take medicine, such as ayahuasca, this is we are agreeing that we're going to encounter those dark places, those shadow aspects of ourselves. And so this is enhancing our recovery journey, which as some of you might know, the recovery journey is all about confronting the shadow and
Hmm.
asking those difficult questions and doing that internal inventory and making amends on the outside. And so ayahuasca is just another tool that solidifies these truths that we have inside of ourselves. And on the recovery path, we have to do that inquiry. On the spiritual path, we have to do that inquiry. And so there is no way that ayahuasca can create addiction the way that other substances do. And in fact, I would say that even the term substance usually refers to something that is manufactured or chemical. There's a chemical process that gets under that happens. So alcohol, there's a distillation process,
Hmm.
and heroin, there's a distillation process. Cocaine, there's some process where the plant itself, which obviously a lot of these things do come from plants,
Hmm.
but there's an extraction happening, and so then it's turning into substance, and then this substance is not a plant anymore, and it's a chemical that has a lot of addictive quality. So ayahuasca being only pure plant based, only a tea made from the chacruna leaf and the ayahuasca vine, this is a plant, this is a medicine. And so that's a really important differentiation. And even when we go to any kind of ceremony, we don't say that we're getting high.
Right.
We this is a because that's not what we're doing. We don't say that we're going on a trip, because we're not. Actually, a trip implies that you're going somewhere and you're coming back. And but what we say with ayahuasca is we're going on a journey, which implies that we hopefully are not going to come right back to where we started. We hope that we are going to continue on that journey so the plant
Hmm.
can take us on this journey, and in our lives we will continue as we integrate that process. So these are really important terms as we come out of a lot of the stories and the language around psychedelics and drugs and substances, especially as it relates to the recovery world.
Well, we're on the cusp of a new mental health revolution. These medicines, some of which are not plant medicines like MDMA and so on, are about to be approved for therapeutic use on a wider scale. But all of these plant medicines, all of these psychedelics, I think, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I mean, they're talking about it on Good Morning America for crying out loud. I mean, people are starting to understand. Yet it's not for everybody, is it, Alanna? You have to screen people. You have to ask a few questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, not every medicine is for every person. And also, some medicines come to us at certain points in life, and then we don't use them anymore. They've served their
Right.
purpose, and then they leave.
Hmm.
And so, yes, absolutely, there's a lot of preparation that working with ayahuasca takes. Any psychedelic preparation, making sure that people don't have a very complex medical history, or if they're, if they're taking a lot of medications, pharmaceuticals, then that all needs to be addressed, and really do a thorough health assessment to make sure that it's appropriate and that it's safe. People that are taking SSRIs, or other combinations of antipsychotics or psychoactive medications, those have to be discontinued, as well as opiates, or anything in that's changing the brain chemistry.
Hmm.
And there are other things as well. Psychotic episodes. There's other small things that people have, health issues, that would say that's maybe
Un
not the best choice for them.
Untreated high blood pressure,
Mm-hmm.
not a good
Mm-hmm.
idea. History of seizures,
Mm-hmm.
probably not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is where your background as a psychiatric nurse is so helpful, because you really understand the big picture.
Absolutely. I think that it really has given me a really solid knowledge base to be able to accurately say whether or not medicine is appropriate for someone, and have a lot of comfort in my own knowledge, and a lot of confidence to say, yes, this can be helpful, or no, this is not the right path in this moment, or be able to guide people along the process of the proper preparation, because they might not be ready right this minute, but with my knowledge and experience, I can say, okay, well, in about 6 months, we can get you prepared with, various techniques and some other kinds of preparations, some gumbo frog medicine, some other maybe
Mm.
preliminary medicines to help cleanse the system, purify, do some detoxing. So there's quite a process where we can support people to get to that place if they're not there right now.
Mhm. And of course, we haven't talked about it yet, but there's that all important integration work afterwards, of course, because what we often say is when people take these medicines, if they don't do the integration, it might have just sort of been an interesting experience, but how do we unpack it? How do we really pull the gold, the gem, the sweetness out of it and apply it to our life? And I know that you do integration work with people as well.
Absolutely. Yes, integration is really the foundation of bringing the experience of any plant medicine into our lives. And if we're not integrating it, like you said, then it is just a trip.
Hmm.
Then you're going somewhere, you're coming back, you have an experience. It's entertainment. You can go to the movies and it has a spiritual label. So this is even
Yeah,
even more confusing.
right.
But that integration piece is absolutely essential to make those small incremental changes in our daily life. Because at the end of the day, we can go to ceremony, we can go to this retreat, that program, and have this experience, make these connections, have such a beautiful time. But then, what is our daily experience of life?
Hmm.
We want that to improve moment
Right,
by
right.
moment, day by day, hour by hour, to become more conscious, to have more joy. And this is what integration is for.
It's not helpful, 3 or 4 months later to stop and think, I don't, nothing's really changed. Why? Well, maybe the integration didn't happen. How can people get a hold of you, Alanna?
Well, I'm available at truthisone.net, and you can click join us. You can also connect with us on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, which is Truth is One, and also follow us on Instagram. But mainly our website, you can see the rest of our offerings and stay up to date. You're also welcome to join our newsletter,
Hmm.
which you can do at www.truthisone.net, and then click join us. We'd
I
be
got
so
I got
happy
one
to
of your
have you.
newsletters today. You got so many exciting things coming up. And one of the things I love that you do is you have not only have co-ed events, but you have events specifically targeted for women. Targeted probably isn't the right word. Offerings for women. Offering. I did a session out there that was a men's ceremony with David that was really very, very nice. Just and there were us guys, like some of the guys were like, you knew that they were bringing up stuff they wouldn't have brought up if they were in a co-ed setting. So that was a beautiful, beautiful setup. So the links that Alanna stated will be in the description. So if you didn't catch them, just on the video, scroll down in the description, you'll find all the links. And so thank you so much, Alanna. This was so comprehensive. You cover so much ground. Your wisdom is very deep, and it's because of your practice, I believe.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Eddie, for having me and for taking the time to do this interview. I really
Of
appreciate the
course.
opportunity to share.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
You're welcome. And those of you who are watching, thank you for watching. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you have any comments, please put them in the comments section. If you have any questions for Alanna and you're unable to reach her for some reason, drop those comments, those questions, and I'll make sure that she receives them and can follow up with you. And of course, if you like this video, you can also subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell so that you get notifications on future videos and you don't miss any. So we'll wrap it up. Thank you again, Alanna, and thank you for watching, everybody. See you next time.